Hello everyone, welcome to MDLR Fishing. My name is Mark and today I'm going to show you how I spool my baitcaster with mono backing to braid and then a fluoro leader. We'll start by removing all of our old fishing line. It's been about over a year since I've changed my line, and if you look at this really close, the camera's probably not going to pick it up, but it is frayed all over the place. And think of a fine thread, and then you take and you keep brushing that thread, and then each of its little bitty fibers start to frizz up. That's kind of what my fishing line looks like. So we got to get all this stuff off. And when I set the hook, well, yeah, I lost quite a few fish already, and one is way too many. So let's get all this line off. Taking a look at this stuff right here, all this braid coming off after I'd say about the first 60 yards at the top of the spool. It was all old and frayed. This stuff is brand new. It looks just like the braid inside the box. Theoretically, what I want to try to do is fill the majority of my spool up with a backing of mono and then put the braid on top of that approximately 100 yards. So I don't have a line counter. It's going to be a lot of guesswork on my end, but it's going to prevent me from wasting so much of good fishing line, because all of this could definitely be used. If I were smart enough, well then I probably would still use this right here, but I've kind of tangled it all up, so pretty wasteful on my end. We'll see if I can salvage some of this before going into the box. So take a look at this here. I was able to re-spool all of this without getting any knots on it. So I've got some 10-pound test that was at the excuse me, that was at the bottom of this spool underneath all of this old worn out 10-pound test. So this is going to be discarded right there, and I'm going to be able to use this stuff after we put some backing of some mono. This next part right here is kind of important. You want the fishing line to come off of this spool and onto this spool in the same direction. So as I start turning the handle, the crank on this one right here, you can kind of see the rotation that the spool has over here on the reel, and it's winding around like that. So for the fishing line, you can see this right here. You want the line to just basically go in the same direction so that we minimize line twist. So it's going to be going like that off of this spool and then onto this spool. Hopefully that makes sense, but it's very important. Again, you don't want all that line twist. With the use of the glove, I was able to keep tension on my fishing line without burning my hand. And you want to make sure that as you're spooling this line onto the reel, that it stays under tension so that it packs on nice and tight and you're not going to have any slippage or anything like that. So what I did was kind of eyeballed it. I've left about 1/8 of an inch of space between the mono, and you can tell right there on the spool that the rest of it's going to be loaded up with the braid. Hopefully we're going to be able to get anywhere from 70 to maybe 100 yards of line on there. Right now, let's take and clip the mono right there, and now what we're going to do is do a joining knot. You can either use a blood knot or a uni to uni. I prefer the uni to uni. I used to do the blood knot, but it's like really hard to do. Uni to uni is very simple. You just take and 1, 2, 3, and 4 twists right there on the mono side. Wet it, cinch it down. Good knot right there. And now we're going to do another uni on the opposite side, and that's going to be around like a 7 twist because the braid is a lot thinner than the diameter of the mono. 7 twists should equal the same size as the mono knot. So here we go. 4, 5, 6, and 7 right there. Do the same thing, wet it. And there we are. And then just start cinching it down. There we go. Nice and tight coils. There we are. Now you've got the knot right here for the braid, the knot over here for the mono, and you're just gonna pull on the mono side, the braid side, and seat those two knots together, just like that. It's a fairly small knot. I mean, it's bigger than what some want, but just be mindful that this is not going through your guides at all. This is gonna be at the very bottom of the spool. So let's clip our tag ends, and we're ready to start reeling in the, there we go. We're starting to reel in the braid now. We're gonna start reeling in the braid in the same exact manner that we did the mono, making sure that the way the line comes off of this spool, it goes onto that one with as little twist as possible. And just like that, there we are. We've got all the usable line. And if you take a look at this right here, we've got probably about, that's going to be like close to a 1/16 of an inch of space left. In any way, it is definitely a lot more line pushed back up. That's going to be usable than what I had before with just the straight mono plus the old stuff. So there we are, and that is how you spool your reel up. All right, and that is it. I hope you found this video useful. I don't want to insult anyone's intelligence. I know respooling a fishing reel is pretty simple, but this is just me showing some of you out there who are possibly beginners how I respool my fishing reels and what makes me successful whenever I go out there on the water. So if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, click that thumbs up button. And for those of you that are not subscribed to the channel and you enjoy what you saw, then do me a favor, click the subscribe button and ring that notification bell icon so that YouTube will let you know when I drop new videos. Until next time, tight lines, y'all.